What up, everybody? I'm your boy, Vestalu. To my right, Rachel. To my left, check in. And welcome to episode 34 of the To The War Show. I haven't been smoking, but I got the lungs for this one.
That was pretty good. You really held that up for a long time.
What up, everybody? Welcome to episode 34 of the 2 to 1 show. Before we do get into our usual shenanigans, we are going to speak about our... Let me not call it that. We're going to speak about our Puerto Rican Day Parade that happened in Brooklyn. It was the first time in 15 years. Check in. What you think about it?
Well, it was the first annual parade. Mm-hmm. It was the first time we were actually able to celebrate in Bushwick. I think you had a great point. I don't even think I should say anything. When I thought about it, I thought it was short. It wasn't as expected. Mm-hmm. But the point that you have made up, I think, is valid.
We're going to get into that.
All right, so I'll wait for you to validate
get into that.
But overall, I thought it was... Well, actually, you know who we should be asking about? Was it pandemonium like it was when I was younger? No, but it was your first experience of anything Puerto Rican related to Bushwick. So what was your thoughts on it?
You could say you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it.
I bet. We know you enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, I just I thought that, seeing everybody together and all the pride, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good. And it really, I don't know, was impressive to me.
Cool.
You're prideful people.
Mr. Lou, best guy. What did you think?
Well, in case you guys don't know, our main topic today is gentrification, and this is why I'm gonna bring this up. I think that shit was trash. All right, can I get a shots fired for that? First of all, whoever the homie was that was in front of fucking Nydia Velasquez and didn't allow us to be in the parade because we did not have a wristband. You did your job too hard. That's what.
Hold on. You said homie. You said homie. Let's call her what she is. And Rachel's politically correct, so she won't say it. The bitch.
That's not about being politically correct. That's about being just not derogatory.
But we know what? So, I'm gonna be derogatory for you.
She was a bitch. We might have footage of her, right?
Yeah, because she was tough on her job.
Toda una puta, pendeja, juega.
Fuck you.
All right, let me explain to you what happened real quick.
She's trying to get me arrested.
Listen. What
did she say to me? You don't get to get nice.
Listen, maybe
I don't know your name because I would have said your name. I would have had it all over on social media.
Threatening that much is too much, maybe, perhaps, yes. But, if you're not coming legit, she's got, that's her job on the line.
Rach, well, we weren't doing anything.
No. It's not the same word, but that she still had a job to do. And that doesn't make her a bitch.
Hold on. No, Rach, she's definitely a bitch for that one.
She wasn't the only one doing that job. Was she the only top flight security there? Was she the only one?
How many other people told us? How many other people that were organizing that parade said, "Yeah, go ahead"?
She grabbed me by the arm and told me like if I was a child.
Yo, bitch ass nigga, come here. She was like, you don't get out this parade, I'm gonna arrest you.
If I tell you one more time, I'm gonna make sure you get arrested.
Well,
now, who the fuck are you?
Well, you really weren't repping Puerto Rico. You were repping something else.
I had the colors. We had this wonderful hat on with the flag on the side. I had the camera on.
I told you that's why it was more so that more than anything else. That probably was the reason. Because of the camera.
Rachel's gonna make me lose my damn top pop talking about this horrible woman. Luke, can you finish your thought?
I'm gonna call her a bitch.
Real quick,
let's spade a spade.
Let me give my quick recap on this. I think the city of New York let us down. First of all, Mayor de Blasio wasn't there. We had Nydia Velasquez, who's my aunt. Second of all, the mayor, by the way, skipped out of all Puerto Rican festivities to take part in his presidential campaign that's going nowhere. Third,
is he like one of 30 people?
Yeah. He's like OD. He's like Al Sharpton from 2008. But I think what they did was they was tired of us doing our own thing, which we spoke about it. We did our parandas. We did our own shit. We did our shit on the blocks. Everybody was all partaking. We did our own parade. Mm-hmm. They gave us one fucking float and a few fucking Taino Indians walking down fucking Knickerbocker, which was beautiful, by the way. But they shut everything else down. So what they did was they said, hey, let's make believe we're giving them a parade on Knickerbocker. Let's keep them all contained
Centralized in one
in
area.
Knickerbocker for we could keep traffic going and we could keep everything going. And you know what? That's fake. That's not the real PR parade. That's not how we show our pride.
Everything
And
shuts down.
And they still, and you know what's crazy?
everybody-
And they still shut the streets down too.
Yeah.
Because remember when,
Yeah,
when
they
we
did.
when we left and we went to go do our other engagement. Congratulations to Shanti and Alex. On
It's
on
a
the baby
boy.
We want to do that. Yeah,
That's why you got the blue tonight?
yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly why I got the blue one. Damn, man.
That's why
I was going to mention that later.
I can't make an observation or a joke. You always have to get on.
Always,
Like that.
no, you always got to. But yes,
No.
that wasn't my intention. But you know, since you said it, that's what I'm running with it. Yeah, it's for you guys. We're wearing blue
It's
for
a
you.
joke.
I forgot. Yeah, they closed the streets down anyway. And,
Yes.
like, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
That was my fault. My
No.
observations.
Your observations are ruining the show. Yeah, you're right. Like we were telling a story about it the last episodes, and we gave you this picture of how it was so crazy and everybody was going insane.
Yeah, I was really waiting for people to really like pop off, but you know.
Yeah, but even without the bad behavior.
But even just even more stuff,
it was like-
more like
it
photos
was-
and stuff.
it was
Like I really
like-
thought it was gonna. What I anticipated in my mind when I built up was like everything from Manhattan coming yonder.
Gotcha. It made the Dominican parade look like the Thanksgiving parade.
It
Right?
made the
Right, the Thanksgiving parade is the biggest parade in New York City, right?
Yeah,
Or the
yeah.
Macy's parade.
Uh-huh.
That's-
I just like the idea of seeing like as a whole seeing everybody. In like the numbers, like really getting.
But there was a lot of rumors that Mark Anthony was going to come by, being that he's a Brooklyn native.
OD.
There was a rumor that there was a couple of DJs that were going to come by. They were Puerto Rican and Brooklyn natives, and ultimately nobody showed up.
Nobody.
You know?
But my boys from Brooklyn.
Maybe next year.
No, but you know what? Ultimately,
It was the first time, so we'll give it
and
to
it's
them.
Bushwick. Louis Bed-Stuy, I'm Bushwick. It was good to just have something for our neighborhood. Besides that puta sucia that was made to me. I wish I knew your name. I swear, I wish I knew your name, your tag on Instagram, everything, so I could just. Actually, besides being a dick, just have a conversation with you. Like, yo, what's your problem? Like, you act like I was a criminal.
Right? You threatened to arrest someone who was
who's
celebrating
showing
the same
support.
heritage
Yes.
that you was. We was not acting wild. We was.
I wasn't drinking, so I didn't have a drink in my hand. I didn't smell like marijuana.
Speak for yourself.
I was very calm, and I wasn't screaming. I was just recording.
He was
She
chilling.
like, hey,
I think that's really what it was about. You had
top
to
flex
put it
security,
on.
whatever. Can we
Anyways,
move on from this?
Before we
super
do get
hard-
off the topic, what you think? 1 through 10. Bushwick's Puerto Rican Day Parade.
We say 1 to 10. We got to compare it to something else, right?
I have nothing to compare.
No,
it
no,
to.
from
that's what I'm
1 through
saying.
10.
I don't know if I can say it.
All right,
five, right in the middle.
I'll vote for you. I'll vote for you. I wish I had 4 thumbs. If I could get that shit 4 thumbs down. That shit was trash. Ready? Bam! Better luck next year. Moving
I
on.
think that woman ruined that woman ruined everything for me. Besides
She
that,
definitely did.
Besides that,
She
it was
definitely
alright
did.
because
She
I thought we were
definitely
gonna be in the parade showing love, and it wasn't. We don't keep talking about it. I hate you.
I
Whatever.
hope you
Move
see
on.
the show. We gave you a sticker, bitch. Moving on. So, Jackan, what up? Let us know what's going on with the ears to the streets.
As you introduced, so eloquently, if you guys haven't heard by now, David Ortiz was shot in the back in a possible assassination attempt. It has now been heard that there's been 6 people that have been caught that have something to do with this. I say like this, man. All right, so that's one thing that happened. So you guys know about that. Supposedly, David Ortiz was sleeping with a drug kingpin's girlfriend or wife or lady, and he put a hit out on him. Whether that's true or not, these are all allegations, speculations. But David Ortiz, immediately after his surgery, was sent out of DR and went to Boston.
I hope everything's okay for him.
Yeah,
It was reported today that he's walking. He's still in critical but stable, but he was walking today. He's from the looks of it, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, but the thing is that in ICU is common when you come out of a surgery. They put you in the ICU because people there are better trained to take care of you. But I think he got like his gallbladder removed and a couple of things. But
His intestines, he a little bit of liver damage due to the shots.
But it was only he only got hit once, right? It was only one shot. How many shots?
Depends how it
I'm
is.
not
It's
aware.
ways.
I'm not.
In the video, it looks like it was only one. I'll tell you this much: he had excellent security or friends or backup because after that one shot, they was all over those.
It was
people.
on that, man.
So he got lucky. But I'm going to say something about DR in a second. Let's get to the next thing that's happening in DR right now. Tourists are dying, man. They're dropping like hotcakes.
Yep.
I mean, the number's up to 7 now of these tourists that are dying randomly in DR. Someone died in the Hard Rock Hotel. The other one died in some place that sounds like Bruja. Abusia, I don't know.
Bruja, by the way, is witch in Spanish.
Yeah. So it's like, no pun intended, but it seems like that's what it is. Actually, the exact place called Bahia, whatever. So it was up to 5, I think, sometime last week. Now it's up to 7, including, if you guys don't know, Shark Tank's very own Barbara Kokorian. She's the 70-year-old woman who's on Shark Tank with the short hair.
Yeah.
Who's actually one of the nicest people from Shark Tank. She usually is pretty okay. She's a real estate mogul. Not Mark Cuban.
I know, I'm joking.
No, he might get syndicated one day. We need Mark Cuban to love us. And her brother died, and it's undisclosed where he died, but they found him dead in his room with apparent heart failure, and these random deaths are occurring in the bedroom, and the most part it's ordering or drinking from the bar in your room, and then you're dead.
Yep.
The people from the Dominican Republic have came out and said that these are not connected, and they're gonna up the security, and they're making a task force to go over both the David Ortiz cases and what's happening to these tourists. My thing is, and I'm gonna say it like this: David Ortiz is an ambassador for the Dominican Republic.
Oh, dude.
And if he's getting...
I think all the Latino community, man.
Yeah, but specifically DR.
Yeah.
He's Dominican.
No,
There's no
okay,
guys
yeah.
Dominican.
Yeah.
Latinos in general, because we'll stick with David Ortiz. But him being like an ambassador for DR, and he's still not safe to go over there, it brings us back to when do people going to learn that the most hate you get is from where the fuck you're from?
The most hate you get is where you're from.
When you make your money, you go back there, and you think that people are going to praise you, and ultimately they don't. We lost Chinch Drugs in Queens? He got shot in the Queens.
Right in Queens.
It wasn't XX from Florida as well?
Yeah.
He got slammed out there.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Biggie got shot on the West Coast, though.
Who?
I said Biggie got shot on the West Coast.
Yeah, but that's still okay. All right, Ray. I gotta fix my stuff. I'm trying to make a point. Oh,
I'm always gonna check it. You know that. I'm always gonna
check it, right?
Yes.
But let me ask you guys a question. With all this shit happening in DR, you get those great rates for flight and hotel. Who the fuck is gonna want to go there now?
All the bitches that want to get their body done.
All the bitches
that shit about to go down all day.
All the bitches that's paying for their baby daddies to go have fun.
Oh yeah. Father's Day's coming up, ladies. If you want, guess what? They're exclusively on Expedia. Send your husband to the Hard Rock Hotel.
Trying to get rid of your baby daddy.
He might get heart failure. Don't worry, it won't be your problem. Leave it to us.
Send him to DR and make sure that he uses the bar in his room.
You think it's gonna kill all the tourism?
Nah.
Listen,
a little bit, maybe.
I don't think so because
tiny bit, and then
Mexico people were getting decapitated.
People still go
and
with
people
Cabo.
were still going.
No, time out. Let me tell you something. There was people coming back with leprosy from fucking surgeries that they was getting out in DR, and them bitches was still going out there.
Yeah.
Oh, they getting
I
it.
don't
So
think it's gonna stop.
I don't think so neither.
I think though it should, I know the FBI and the CDC are there now. I think it should be better regulated.
They about to clean the whole shit.
I mean,
un poquito de cloro, coño. Vamos a limpiar esta mierda porque es un parasite.
Make sure he said put Clorox on
And kill the parasite.
kill the parasite.
It's obviously some kind of
you know what?
parasite.
Parasites may kill you. What about Clorox? Drinking Clorox? You think that's gonna do something?
Man, Clorox will kill anything, bro.
what I'm saying.
I had AIDS one time and I drank Clorox and I didn't have it no more, bro. Clorox.
Oh my god.
So first you had herpes. But you can't use Clorox for herpes, right? Because you still got that, right?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't work against herpes. I bought Clorox chapstick one time and still didn't work.
But pretty much, guys, with DR, man, just be safe when you go out there.
Yeah,
watch what you eat, watch
around,
what you
but-
drink. And the last thing I wanted to talk about with the ears to the street topic, Kevin Durant.
Oh, man. Poor story, man. Bad story.
KD, man, sorry that you fucked up your Achilles. As a Knicks fan, I don't want to sound terrible, but it kind of hurt my feelings. I was like, man, are we going to still pay for him? But as a human, as from sports...
Wait. Time out. Because you know what I'm about to come with, right? You know what I'm about to come with, right?
Hold on, let me finish. But from a sportsman point of view, and from a person that used to play athletics, can't do it now. I'm out of breath just walking.
Was it 3 jump shots?
Yeah, 3 jumps. I was dying. Remember, I was like, oh my God, we walked with the rap. I was about to die.
I was hitting them
It was
swishes.
hard.
Yeah, I was hitting them swishes.
I hope you get speedy recovery, man. It was just from a sportsmanship point of view, when the fans booed them, you look at a person like I played basketball, so it looks like damn, you would boo me when I'm hurt. But from a fan's point of view,
whose fans?
no, from a fan's point of view, if my team was going against you and you get hurt,
Oh, I got what you're saying.
let's say I don't cheer. Let's say, yeah, I'm not gonna cheer. I'm gonna be an adult about it. But inside,
You're cheering.
inside. Let me see.
Well, you probably don't hope
we
that it's
doing?
going back.
Inside, I'm like, I'm going crazy. Inside. So even though I don't have the balls, not the balls, even though I have the decency to not express it,
That's a strong.
Inside.
That's a strong.
No, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you do go back, I don't remember what episode it was, but you asked me if I wanted Kevin Durant on Brooklyn, and what was my response to
you
you?
said you didn't want him
Why?
because you said he might get hurt, but you said knees. This is Achilles.
Even worse. I knew there was something
Tendons
wrong
are
with that
worse
leg.
than-
No, Achilles. I think what is it? The Achilles
Achilles-
injury to a basketball player is like
Because you're jumping, running, it affects
who was
you.
it?
Yeah,
That
but I know
Marcus
that.
Camby went down by that.
Kobe
Kobe.
was
New
Kobe.
York always takes wounded players.
That's
Yeah,
what
they're probably gonna fuck around and give him max contract. Oh,
That's what they
you
say.
got Achilles? Yeah, come here. We want you.
they're thinking about if you sign him, he'll get about $40 million a year. So his first year he'll get $40 million to sit down. But you know you have him his second year. So that may be worth it. But you know, what are your thoughts on the fans acting like, I guess, assholes?
I think that I don't.
You don't think they're like
I think as a
assholes?
fan, I shout outs to the players who showed concern.
Yeah.
The players definitely show concern because I guess they know, you know.
I mean, they're cool off the court. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. I guess they know. Even Drake was showing. I mean, if you go to @221_
Yeah.
show, you can see Drake. He shows some kind of sympathy. You know, the fans are gonna be fans, bro. At the end of the day, the fans want their team to win. So if the whole fucking team gets
I don't know,
injured,
this whole series fans have been going a little crazy. Though.
exactly.
But from Toronto's point of view, I had a coworker that he said he was in what is that called? Niagara Falls, right over Niagara Falls. What part of Canada is that? Is that
Ontario?
Ontario, right? Or something like that?
No clue. I just took a guess.
It
Rachel,
sounds
help me
like-
out here because you like you passed
Wait,
geography.
well,
in
anyway,
college.
he was this.
I used to go over there for college.
So he said he went over there. He went to a casino over there, and he said, like with the last 2 minutes, the casino literally stopped.
Yeah.
Everybody stopped to watch the game, and they were acting insane over there. So he could only imagine how it was in Toronto.
I'm really drawing a blank on that. Where?
Before we do get off of
Not
this,
Toronto.
does Golden State still win?
It is probably-
Sorry.
I'm
I've
gonna
been
look that.
fucking up 2-1
I'm
TV.
sorry. I just touched your lips too, Papa. I'm sorry.
You got herpes. Does Golden State get over this?
I think Golden State wins tomorrow because I think they're gonna be driven by that.
Well, they're going back now.
To dub, yeah, they're going back to
So I
the
think they win tomorrow, but
So
then I think
Toronto on
Toronto
Sunday.
closes it out on Sunday.
Nice.
It's a good Father's Day thing too.
Yep. Oh, Father's Day.
Father's Day Sunday.
Rachel,
What?
what do you think?
Oh, I already said.
Well, we said Golden State, right?
Yeah,
I said it.
I said
I said
Golden
it's
State.
6, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm done.
Before we do get off,
I don't know. I don't really get caught up in like the breakdown of how it is. I just look at the end. Who's gonna win? I think Golden State.
Cool.
They're gonna come back.
They looked exhausted though the last game. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They look gassed.
since we are in sports, before we do get off of this and get into our next segment, I do want to talk about this.
Don't listen. Don't get
You
too
know
crazy
I'm
about
going.
it.
You know
Don't
I'm
get too
going.
crazy about
You know
it.
I'm going. Right?
All right, go ahead.
You know
Let's
I'm
go.
going. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the Subway Series yesterday. One game got rained out, so it happened to be a double header. I happened to have the pleasure to be there with my baby, kiss my ex. We got our ass whooped the first game, day game, but it was hot as fuck. You know what I mean? But then something good happened, and we 1-1 with the Yankees. So
Hold on. We whipped their ass second game too.
They
Like,
whooped our
if you're
ass
gonna
the
say
first
if you're gonna say they
game.
whipped our ass,
It was a
if you're gonna say
double,
double header. If you're gonna say they whipped our ass, we whipped their ass
double
too.
whooping.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gave him the whooping. We gave him the whooping.
Don't
Nobody,
put words
no,
in my mouth,
no,
Josh.
no. I'm
Check in.
Checking.
Nobody outmatched each other when it comes
Nobody.
to like they looked pretty much the same.
And we wrote their best pitcher too. So
Yeah,
think about
we
it.
roped the ace.
We roped the ace. So.
The ace, and he pitched probably one of the best games of the year against Boston this year.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it is what it is.
So 1-1 against the Yankees. So you Yankee, we first started the show. We were gonna be the Mets-Keteers. This was supposed to be a Mets podcast show. Thank God that went down the drain. But yeah, we die hard Mets fans, so we had to definitely put that in there for y'all.
But we're not Yankee haters. I'm not. Let me say that.
He's not a Yankee hater.
I'm
Fuck
not a
the
Yankee
Yankees.
hater. I don't hate on the Yankees.
Suck my dick.
They're not in our division now. All those people in our division, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Washington,
you're not a Yankee
Florida,
hater?
fuck 'em.
I always like to see New York win, but I always pick the Mets.
I'm
I'm gonna pick the Mets over the Yankees too.
I don't
But I'm
like-
not gonna hate on the Yankees.
I don't like neither of y'all. No. Fuck that. Fuck the
2-1,
Yankees.
2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1.
My daughter supposedly put a hex on the fucking Yankees when she was in there. And I really hope that shit was true. Because I want all of them to rupture their Achilles like KD. Anyways, moving forward. Yo, in case you guys haven't heard, I don't know if y'all sure or not, a couple of new shit dropped. One of the things that did drop was Future's album. And Chris Brown and Drake got a song. We're going to get to that next. I want to talk about Future's album real quick. I want to know what y'all thoughts on that is. The album is called Save Me. For those of y'all who don't know, you can catch it on all platforms, Apple, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. It will be here too. Jackie, have you heard it?
I heard it. We're gonna play a little bit in the background like we always do.
Okay.
The first, it turned me off because the first song was called Xanax Damage, and being that we had that opioid episode,
Make sure y'all check
which
that
is
out.
episode 31 of opioids, it threw me off. But this is like it's like a ballad. This whole album, it's an EP. It's like 6 songs.
Seven.
Sorry, 7 songs. Oh, seven
So
songs.
it's a love song about drugs.
No, it's not about drugs. He's talking about. Yeah, I thought it was too. And then with him, we gotta look at the
I
lyrics.
translated that as like a bitch is like a Zanny to him. Like he's talking to some girl.
Nah, he's saying
Well,
that.
that
No,
is
no.
an addiction.
He's saying that he only knows pretty much how to love or how to be with a woman when he's on his Xanax or when he's fucked up. So he says his life starts when the sun goes down. And he pops a Zanny, and then he starts wanting her. And
That
all
makes
other shit.
sense,
So
'cause
that's
I
what-
only last-
So Zanny damage. If you look at Zanny damage, he's saying when I'm on a Zanny, I want to be with you. I want to go and stuff. I'm fucked up. How most guys would do when they get fucked up. I take it as when you get fucked up, you start calling your girl, calling her, yeah, I love you, blah blah, so whatever. So that was alright. But the song that stood out to me was a song called Shotgun. And Shotgun has been getting a little controversy because supposedly there's a line in there that says "I promise" or something like that, and people are claiming that may be a shot or something to Sierra.
Oh, if you don't allow me this, co-parenting, that was another episode that we did.
Last
that was
episode?
our last
33?
episode.
Yeah.
33?
So we gotta make sure we plug that in as well because they are in a sort of a co-parenting relationship.
They definitely are.
Yeah,
They have a
I mean,
child
we had
together.
a whole conversation about this too
Yeah.
with Russell Wilson and the fucking
do you-
kids.
what are your thoughts? Like, do you think it is? Do you
I
think
think
it-
the
do you
song
think
is a
it's-
really good song,
Do you think it's a
but I
shot?
don't think it's that. I think because
Or people are just digging.
I think because he hasn't
Fishing
been.
for something.
Yep, he hasn't been public with any relationships. So because he hasn't been public with any relationships, the only relationship they can talk about is Sierra.
That's true.
Because this is like he's getting personal with the girl.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you guys check that out. Save Me. The song is called Shotgun. You tell me what you think, if you think that was actually a dig at.
Did you
Sierra,
get
I'm
to
not-
the song? No, not really, right?
What?
The Future album.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing. So I'm not gonna ask you. What do you think? 1 through 10.
It's an EP, 6 songs. I was
Did you enjoy it?
I was entertained. For 7 songs, excuse me. For 7 songs, I like 3 or 4 songs.
I'll give it a 6 because I think it sounds like Juice WRLD way too much.
That thing that was when people were talking about the reviews. That's the type of thing he wanted to do.
He wanted to
He
sound
just dropped something recently.
Okay.
He wanted to do like a ballad. It's all right. To me, I'm kind of over the whole auto-tune shit.
I was just gonna say that was my whole thing. That's why I'm like I haven't even listened to the whole thing because it's like I like Future.
You heard the
but-
auto-tune and you was all...
No. My always has been my thought about Future is that I like him, but I don't know that I can listen to a whole album of him because after a while it just kind of sounds like the same.
It's redundant.
Yeah, the sound is the same. I like him as a feature much more than I like him as a solo artist. Sorry, Future.
Guys, check it out. Save Me by Future is his new EP. 7 songs. See what you think.
And Jack, there's a number one going on right now that you put us on to.
Yes.
That I happen to. I might be crushing some to this song. It's number one right now in the country on all platforms.
You had to expect that. It's just like with Cardi.
Chris Brown and Drake. Yeah, that's like a cheat code.
The names are too big. So Chris Brown and
So
Chris Brown
this kind of
dropped
goes back to what we were saying a couple weeks ago when we were talking about what's the song of the summer, and we thought, and then
forget about it. Hold on.
Drake hasn't dropped anything yet. Wait,
You did say that.
I did say
you
that.
did say that. We're gonna find a clip.
Yes.
You did say that.
I did say that.
But Chris Brown and Drake is like a cheat code on the platform. Chris Brown, that's like a cheat code on the chart.
Like Drake is like the new like. I'm squashing all my beef and now I'm making a record with them. Like Meek Mill now. Him.
But I mean, that's the society we live in now. Nobody beefs for anybody anymore. You beef and then you make a song together. And that's society period. Like this new generation is like.
Wait, what was that word you just used?
What? Society.
Before that?
Generation.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm just making sure I'm using words that don't make sense. Not like a.
Shots fired.
I was just gonna get him on just the fact that he said he had decency. I was like, you got decency?
Well, I used the words before the show that you had to correct me on, so I had to get you on camera for that one.
You use the real word.
Bicentennial.
Right.
Well, like I was saying, this generation, it's like even with the basketball, they don't want to play against each other. They don't want to play with each other. It's like this whole kumbaya shit that I hate, but whatever.
You like the beef?
I love it. But that sounded whoa.
Ladies, we do support the LGBTQ community here, so
It's
we're not gonna elaborate on what that means. But
It's jokes.
no homo. Pause.
Whoa. I mean, this song is alright. It's cool.
You're an angry person. That's why you like.
Yeah, I'm naturally just an angry person. I'm not naturally.
And check in German verdict. Yeah, there you go.
Well, let's get over this because we got more important things to talk about. But overall, did you guys like the song?
I loved
Yeah,
it.
no,
I loved
I
it.
like
I
it.
definitely loved it.
The
I
cadence
definitely got high to it, and I just envisioned myself like making love to like 3 of my exes.
It's the
and
first
some
Chris Brown
midgets,
thing
you know,
I've liked
yeah.
in a while because I've
Yeah,
not
midgets.
really like the last couple songs.
Yeah,
that we've had.
Oh, we can't even say that. That's not politically correct. Sorry, small people.
Small people.
Whatever.
I'll fuck the shit out of bitches.
This is the first. This is his first single off of the Indigo project that's dropping on June 28th. So guys, check it out. No Guidance. Listen, you guys, it's gonna be everywhere real soon. Chris Brown featuring Drake. No
Maybe
Guidance.
the song.
If you haven't heard it yet, you're gonna hear it about a week from now.
Listen,
Trust me.
Hold on. What was the Meek Mill song? There was a song of the summer that Rachel had us playing about a bazillion times on Sunday.
You stay,
I stay.
and that's
You
DJ
stay.
Khaled's song. Who, by the way, is we the second best. Just to add, it's not part of the agenda, but
I still think it's gonna be a good song for the summer. But I did say.
You started J. Rachel. You started.
what do you real quick?
You started. You
let me
said
ask you
that
guys
You
a
Stay
question.
is gonna be the song.
Off
It
topic.
probably is.
Off topic.
I said that. First of all, I said that off camera. Second of all, I said
so
that.
no evidence?
I said that
But
off
you admitted
camera.
it.
I got the
say
evidence.
that. But I also said
That with
that
Drake, yes.
right now, this sounds until we haven't heard anything from Drake.
And this kind of really isn't Drake. This is Chris Brown's song. So Drake is probably due to drop something. Real
Nigga,
soon.
that's Drake. That's Drake and Chris
He's
Brown.
probably gonna drop after the Raptors win. He's gonna drop something. Maybe
Ooh,
maybe a freestyle.
Yep.
Something
Last
like
summer I thought
If
like
the
Post
Raptors
Malone
win.
had a really good song, the one with him and Nicki Minaj, and then like Drake came out with Kiki and it was over. So it might feel like.
Hold on. It definitely no. All right, we're
And
gonna
that
give
was
him,
the song of
but
the
it wasn't him. If you got to give that shitty kid the credit, he didn't make that dance. That song wasn't going nowhere. I'll give him credit though. He liked that song.
Either way.
He liked that song before the dance came out.
I did too.
He liked it.
I did too.
I didn't even pay attention to the second CD.
Let me give you guys real quick. It's way off topic, way off of the agenda. What do you guys think about DJ Khaled being very upset that he didn't hit number one and going in on all his production team? Did you guys hear about that?
I did
So
not.
apparently DJ Khaled went into his after the billboards came out. He's even gonna sue the billboards. Charlamagne gave him Donkey of the Day because he literally went on his whole production team and was like he should be first.
I mean,
And
he's
he was
hyping
mad
that
about
album for
coming about
so
second.
long.
Exactly. So he was like really pissed off.
Yeah,
so
he was pissed off at his label,
so
and he went.
my advice to DJ Khaled before we get up there, we the second best. There gotta be something.
We're silver. That's a silver cloth.
Major key to the bottom. Like, I got you, DJ Khaled.
Versus the
But
worst,
yeah,
second
bro,
is the best.
exactly. Like, not everybody get, you did your thing. We love the album, but somebody had a better
It
album
doesn't
than you.
go. Just look at the songs individually, because I don't think as an album it may stand on its own so much. But
Really?
But let me ask you a question.
He has
All right, since we
7
digress-
hit
since we-
singles.
Since
Well,
we're
maybe.
all the way digressing,
Hit
when
him,
the
hit
fuck
him.
does Khaled make a good album? He has 4 or 5 songs on the albums that are really, really, really good songs, and then the rest of it be a lot of bullshit.
I think this last album had a lot of good songs. One spliff away, keep
Yeah.
that evil away.
Just
That
because
one,
because the songs are commercial don't mean that they're always that great.
yeah,
No, people-
I never like anything. I didn't like any of the Justin Bieber songs that he had. I'm sorry,
And that one number 1.
and I didn't like it.
If you ask me, the best song on that was
so
the Carlos Santana song.
So
But
he
that's
should be
it.
in second then.
No brainer was annoying.
So in other words, DJ Khaled, pump your brakes. Slow down, Betty. Okay.
Special silver cloth.
Just when you think you're platinum, you're aluminum.
Double plastic.
We're digressing. Let's not digress. We got a lot. And guys, I want to thank you guys all for fucking participating on this on the feedback and to the Talk to Us IG. We got so much stuff on Talk to IG that I think we might have material for the next 2 months. But
So if we don't get to your topic today,
Yeah, it
we'll
may
get to
come
it
up on a
eventually.
future.
Yeah,
It may
definitely.
Yeah.
So just wait for it because don't think we shitting on you.
It may even be a
Yeah.
main topic.
You know
There
what?
is definitely a lot of main topics
some
there.
people
Especially,
give us really
um,
good stuff, so we may have to take a larger part of the show.
I
to
like the
debate it.
topic about sleeping with coworkers, or another one was
I
your-
love that one.
your is marriage still a goal? Your
That
relationship
was a
is
good-
marriage
I
still a
like
goal?
that one. I actually
No.
did like that one.
I mean, I like stuff. I mean, I thought it was the people had.
Can't remember what you say you like.
Somebody asked about the vaccinations going on.
Yeah, that's actually
that
good.
could be a full, but we have to do our homework on that. That's a
Yeah.
lot of shit.
That
going
could be
on.
a part of the autism special.
Yeah,
that
I
as
like
well.
that.
Yep.
But talk to us IG. So
Mm-hmm.
we decided to go with the decriminalization of prostitution in New York State.
Sorry,
Which
sorry,
you
I'm
kind of did
apologizing.
touch on a little bit before. You were really gung ho for it before.
Yeah, I feel it goes back to our episode about when we
Woman's
were talking
right
about,
to
Yeah, when
choose.
we were talking about the abortion.
No,
I mean,
no. You talked about it before because we had mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
but even this could piggyback on to when we were talking about the abortion thing, and that was what, episode 32, 31, 32?
I'm lost.
Yeah, so it wasn't a main topic. We had brought it up, and it was just about people being able to do what they want with their bodies. So I think the same thing. So what ultimately happened, if you guys don't know,
Or you just really want sex, it's not necessarily a crime.
correct. I mean, and if you want to sell your body, then by all means, it's the longest way of commerce, the oldest way of commerce we've ever had.
Do you think New York will see a red light district?
I hope so.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that if they
42nd Street used to be like fake red light district. Pardon me.
Yeah. It did.
It should be though, because if they are gonna decriminalize it, which pretty much legalizing it, I think they should give a safe space for women or men to practice their work. Because at the same time, I don't think it should just be like, oh, let your pussy
Well, no, I
open
mean,
because you have sickos.
It's quite impressive, like the way it is when it is done like that. Like that, I went to Amsterdam. It was like that. So
It's like free. Like, don't they have people like in the window and shit like
yeah,
that?
but it's like you like are like right. It's just like there's it's regulated by
Plus-
the government so much. And
Who were the two people that asked for this
STDs?
though? I want to make sure we shout them out. It was King Joey, right?
Oh yeah.
I'll get it. Keep talking.
King Joey and I think Sky's Pops or something like that. They asked for
King
it.
Joey and Sky Pops.
Thanks, we
Now shout for
appreciate you
y'all.
guys.
Thank y'all so much for that.
King
man.
Joey actually has been on our show before.
Yep.
So if you guys, that's like episodes.
The best
side.
Tyler was hungover.
Oh,
as fuck.
best side didn't get to make it that day.
So our 2-to-1 take on it is
I'm all for it. I've always been all for it. Well, like I don't gotta go hide and look for it. I don't gotta go to back page anymore, which is shut down.
You
On
got a
Craigslist?
bed page if you want. Bed page, BED page.
Yeah,
Don't look at me like that, Rach.
we used to try. When you go to the Village Voice and in the back they have all the escorts.
Really?
Yeah, look back a long time ago.
how do you know all this stuff?
Because we buy hoes. I buy hoes. No,
I don't know
not.
what he's talking about.
Edit number 2.
Everybody knows
One
about it.
time-
Everybody knows about it. But yeah, pretty much if the bill goes through, then the good thing about it is people that were charged with any kind of sex trafficking, well, not sex trafficking, wrong word, selling their body or whatever, they will be released from prison. The funniest thing I found from it is because the people that were in Albany that were fighting for it, like prostitutes and like pimps that were actually there, and they're with their signs. I thought that was hilarious. But
That is
Rachel,
very funny.
what do you think about it? You gotta pay for some dick.
hey,
Women never have to pay for it.
I know that. That was the.
but you don't pay for sex. You pay for them to leave.
Ooh,
Pay for me to never talk to you again.
not me. I've had different.
No strings
experiences.
attached. You know.
Wait, women don't pay for sex?
We don't pay for sex.
Well, you, because you're attractive. What do you talk about ugly women? You don't think they have to pay for sex?
No.
Well,
I think any woman.
Everyone's got a cup of tea.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what?
I
There's a
think-
popular
that blows this whole segment up because I was about to sell this dick to everybody. I guess that's enough.
This guy's in rare form today. But if the bill goes through, you know, the only thing that I don't want is women being on corners and shit like that. Hopefully,
No,
I think
definitely
if it goes to a place where it's done well, then it's fine. I have no problem with it.
Like if it's-
People wanna
if it's-
do what-
if it's
like I
in
said,
closed
whatever
doors.
floats your boat, we'll go with it. It doesn't bother me. How people live their life in that kind of way does not affect me.
we never been to Amsterdam, so could you like maybe give us a quick?
Okay, so like, if there's like a museum, there's actually like a museum in the LA district about like, like sex workers, a museum of sex workers, and it just kind of gives you like a little bit of an education about how they are protected, how they get health care, and they're very. It's not like
It's like a job. It's like a 9 to 5.
where you don't think it's not like turning tricks. It's like you're like legit looking really beautiful in a window, and it's like window shopping for what you want. And
So
you
it's
go
like
in.
9 to 5 and dick.
So you're trying to say, Rachel, if I put myself on a window, nobody's gonna want to buy me?
I didn't say that. I said everyone's got a cup of tea.
It's not gonna be a woman.
Everybody's got a cup of tea. Everybody's got a cup of tea.
Fuck, I was hype about this news till they told me the truth about it. I was like, boy, I've been saying.
Hold on, my
King Joey, Scotch Pops, I hope you enjoyed the segment. And that's our Let Talk to His IG for today.
Appreciate y'all for that, man. All right, guys. Now it's time for best salute to turn into.
Hey, hold on, but real quick. I'm sorry. Two women are the ones that are introducing it, by the way. There's two female senators.
Okay.
They
don't make that much money.
No,
They need they probably need to sell some senator pussy. Like,
I'm just saying, I just to get that out the way, because people will probably think that's a man that wants to pass that bill, but it's actually two women.
I mean, I know the one for the most is Eric Gonzalez, who's our district attorney.
I don't know.
I also like the idea of like, I always talk about like lowering the mass incarceration.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm always
I
for that.
think it's totally for that.
Too many people.
All right, come on.
And it's gonna get a lot of people out of jail, and you might get locked up one day for drinking and driving, and you'll be out of fucking the bookings in 6 hours instead of dealing
Nah,
with
drinking
all
and
these
driving, you
questions.
deserve to be where you are.
You're a piece of shit, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen,
So
go
we're
ahead.
all for it. We're all for decreasing.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we all for decriminalizing prostitution?
You know what that means, right?
Holy shit, we on the 3-0 show.
Unanimous.
I'm all for it. I mean, I'm sure me and Jack are all for it for reasons that Rachel's not for it, but we'll keep that off. We'll keep that off
Rachel's
the
in the
mic.
closet of Madam, right? She's gonna be in the closet of Madam. Rachel's gonna.
You said this last time.
That's gonna be her side house. She's selling
Ladies and
pussy.
gentlemen, welcome to the 2-1 brothel. We have Dominicans with no diseases. And let me stop.
We leave Dominicans alone. I think we bonded
we
enough
right.
today,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
Let's
I'm sorry.
got Dominican fucking.
Let me
friends.
get serious.
And family.
And family. That's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into our main topic here. It's time for us to get a little bit serious because this is a very serious topic in my book, and I don't know if it is to y'all. Hopefully, after this segment, we could make it serious to you guys. We did say in the beginning of the show that the main topic that we're gonna be talking about is gentrification. And before we do get into gentrification, I'm gonna ask Jack in here if you could please just give us a brief definition of what gentrification means. Well, let's give the definition of what Google is giving us.
Just overall, then.
And I think Rachel's gonna elaborate a little more on what, like a little more in depth.
All right, so it's the process of renovating and improving a house or district so that it conforms to middle class taste. An area that's undergoing rapid gentrification is what is usually being said. It's the process of making a person or activity more refined or polite.
Okay.
And Rachel, you want
If you can elaborate a
Add
little
more
bit more on
to
that.
More in the sense of saying that it's probably a little bit more about higher income groups coming into low income areas and changing not just the financial landscape but the cultural landscape.
Before we
Sounds
do
about
start, I just want to say that a lot of people have this common misconception that gentrification is a race thing. It has nothing to do with race. Gentrification has
No.
everything to do with income inequality. I'm gonna give a few stories as we get more into this as to my battles with gentrification. I'm lucky. I'm luckily enough to be a Section 8 recipient and NYCHA recipient, whatever you want to call that. So I'm not not yet dealing with gentrification and what it has brought. However, there's a lot of people in our community and the audience that we're trying to target that think that gentrification really is nothing, and it's just beautiful bars and a nice scenic view and everything.
All this new stuff coming to the neighborhood.
It's awesome. Like, you know what I mean? I even fall to it. I love these new bars. I love these happy hours on Mondays at 12 o'clock. Stuff that we didn't see and stuff like that. And before we do start, I do want to ask, check in, not to put you on the spot.
Shoot.
Do you know who your representative of your community is?
I do not.
Why is that?
I don't. I told you I'm like terrible at politics.
It doesn't matter to you.
If you want to be honest, it's usually, and I guess I'm probably the majority in the population, or maybe the majority of people I know. Until it's affected me, I really don't really care about it. So
Do you not think that politics, your community board, and everything like that has anything to do with you?
Yes and no. I mean, the obvious answer is say yes because we empower the people that are going to be doing it. But to me, they kind of all corrupt to me, so I don't really give a shit. So it's going to be yes. The logical answer is of course, because by empowering them, voting them in, giving them the access to do what they have to do, you put the right person in. Theoretically, they're going to make things right for your community. But that doesn't always happen in my experience. Just from living in my community, it's usually they're all fucking thieves.
Do you know that NYCHA, due to all the problems, which is housing, all the problems that they are having, and the budgets and the debt that they're in, they're looking to privatizing.
Yeah, I'm
housing.
aware of
Does
that.
that bother
I'm
you?
fully aware of that.
Some
Does
of them
that-
have
does that
been
concern you by
privatized.
any chance?
Some of them have been
Yeah.
privatized.
I mean, I live in public housing right now. So yeah, of course, if they try to boot me out, I mean,
put you on the spot, but I do too.
I don't know that necessarily just trying to boot you out, but what they're
Trying to buy you out.
Will buy you out, or just hey, we're gonna come in, we're gonna clean it up, we're gonna make it look nice, we're gonna give you all these things, and now your rent's gonna be higher.
yeah, I mean that's normally what happens.
Now,
Well,
my
they make
thing-
everything else around you to higher. Sorry.
no, fine. I'm gonna give my personal thing with gentrification. I have plenty of problems with gentrification, and like I said, I love it. I love it and I hate it. It's a love-hate relationship that I have with these people that are coming in and are buying out our community. I read this article the other day. I was in the Heights, and I happened to go through this, and I read this article as well. And people are coming into our communities and just buying them and making them Airbnbs. Now, the people who come into Airbnbs, what do we do usually at 1 o'clock in the morning outside of our neighborhoods on Saturdays?
Play music.
Play music.
Hang
We're
out.
loud as fuck,
Yeah,
right?
yes, of course.
What do you think happens when that person from Airbnb, who's not from this, who knows nothing about the neighborhood's culture, who knows nothing about what's going on? What do you think happens when they call the police and tell them, "Yo, there's a noise disordinance"? Did I use the right word, Rachel? You're my.
Ordinance.
The ordinance. There's a noise.
I'm all about
there's a
pronunciation.
noise
I don't
ordinance
like
coming
it.
on, and what do you think happens to us if we got a warrant or something?
I mean, yeah, you're gonna get arrested.
You got arrested. You got to jail. Spend the night in the bookings, right? I bring that up to say this: is that not our culture, though? Are we? To you,
So
is
our
that
culture to
anything
have
wrong?
warrants?
No.
Or just to say.
You mean our culture to be outside 1 o'clock? Yeah, that's why.
Does
when you
that
told
bother
me-
anybody else that's been in the community for over 10, 20 years?
No, unless you have like the old woman that's there. Yeah.
Now, I'm only bringing up the little things about gentrification.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rachel. I didn't hear what you said. Could you repeat that?
I said maybe it did on some of it, but they just didn't have the means to do anything about it.
Yeah. You're right. I agree. You don't know if but for the most part, people that live
They
in
just
neighborhood,
accept
they
it
kind
because
of
that's
accept it.
where they were
Yeah.
kind of forced to be at.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Luke.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so like I don't want to be like I don't want to be like I don't want to nitpick nobody or anything. But what I'm trying to say, my thing here is that I'm trying to say is that Gentrification is a problem to me, and I'm going to tell you why. Unfortunately, people from where we come from do not know anything about community boards, do not know anything about our elected officials, do not care about elected officials because we have been taught that your vote doesn't count, your vote doesn't matter, your vote doesn't mean shit. So therefore, we've been on this common misconception that, you know, it doesn't mean shit. Meanwhile, these people that come from other places of the country, small town, rural, middle of America, or wherever you come from, they know, look, I got on my community board. I know I can't change shit in the community. And the community is getting changed. The community is getting changed OD. And before we get into this is just the minor facts. Before we get into the big facts, I just want to know, like, all right, let's keep it real. You shared with me, you really don't care about gentrification, or do you or do you not? Or am I wrong?
Hasn't affected you yet.
Yeah, that was my point. I mean, actually, it hasn't. I didn't say it hasn't affected me in a negative way. Let's say that. Now, don't get me wrong. If they're coming around and they're trying to, get me out of the place I live or
It's
something
gonna
like
start
that. Yeah.
affecting
Or if they raise my
that'll be
rent,
different.
then yeah, of course. And I think I'm.
Do you know there's no more ceiling rent in NYCHA, right?
I don't know what ceiling rent is.
Ceiling rent before NYCHA used to have a ceiling rent. So no matter how much
Money you make, you gotta
income you made, $700 was what you're gonna pay for the rest of the month.
I don't.
That has been that's been.
I don't know if that's true, Lou.
No, that's absolutely true.
When I lived in Hope Gardens a long time ago, and my mom.
What was a long time ago?
Shit, 15 years ago.
Yeah, there's definitely no more ceiling rent in
No,
NYCHA.
but
I
15
promise
years
you.
ago, my mom was paying $1,000 rent, and so I don't know if that's true, and it was based on your income. And then my mom left, bought a house, and my sister took over the apartment, and her rent immediately went down to I think like a fraction of that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Well, we'll fact check that right now. But I'm pretty sure ceiling rent has. I'll tell you why I know that. I mean, I don't know if the two to one is no, but I happen to go through whatever I'm going through, and I'm happen to be back with my mom, where I grew up at, and my mom did overtime last year. She got a little extra work and everything, and this year her rent got picked up $200 because of the overtime that she did last year. Before, my mom could make $1 million and her rent will only be $700.
Is this a gentrification issue?
Yeah. I'm a little.
I'm gonna tell you why
that
that is a gentrification issue, because I think
help me understand.
Yeah, I'm a little.
I think they're trying to get us. This is just me. I could be wrong. NYCHA's about to be privatized real soon because of like I said before, because of the problems that are happening. They're in debt. They're in whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Once NYCHA becomes privatized, you go into a landlord that buys the building, and what happens when you buy the building? You go into a contract with the city. Now, this is I'm gonna get off this topic, and I'm gonna tell you how I know this. Not that long ago, East River Preservation Houses fell into a contract with the city, which was for 40 years. For 40 years, the building, the not the building. What do you call big
construction?
buildings altogether? No. Let's just say organization, right? The organization of buildings. It's not NYCHA. But they went into a 40-year pact with the city. This that 40-year pact was you had to give half of your apartments had to be affordable housing. After those 40 years, it doesn't matter.
And how long ago was that?
That was recently. This was in 2010. East River Preservation.
Right, so
That's where I was living at in Harlem.
30 years.
Okay? That's where I was living at in Harlem. So with the city, and I could be wrong. This is just my perspective on. This is how I'm looking at it. I'm not saying
is
that
this
I'm
your
right.
experience?
Huh?
This is your experience?
This is my experience.
All right, so
I've lived in
so
East. I lived in East River Preservation,
Someone
and I
you
happen.
right. This is your experience.
I happen to I like reading contracts. I like seeing all that.
Okay.
And the city made a 40-year deal with the East River Preservation, which was where I was living, and they said, look, for 40 years, you need to give half of your apartments have to be affordable housing.
Okay.
What's gonna happen after those 40 years?
Okay, but it's not happening.
That's
now.
everything to do with gentrification, because East Harlem is turning into Soha. You know why they're trying to turn East Harlem into Soha? Because they want to change the community and pick up the rents.
But I think that started with the Clinton administration. Weren't they doing that too?
Doesn't matter who it started with.
But and all right, so you think that's a bad thing?
I think that's a horrible thing.
Why?
I ask you why. Rachel, you with your experience in mental health, do you not think that people have an emotional attachment to where they've been somewhere, especially if they've been for 20 years?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I do feel like I did kind of read that a little bit too. That's also something that first of all, people in poverty, have a lot of there's a lot correlation with mental health, just because you're always if you're in a place of stress, like financial stress, it's going to affect you in some way. And yes, so definitely think that if you're losing your home, if you're all that kind of stuff, it's definitely going to affect you on some level. And then more hospitalizations occur. I think I don't know how strongly correlated it is exactly to gentrification, but I definitely think that you see a relationship of some sort increase.
I mean, I guess we could all agree that gentrification has its negative and positive attributes. From what Lou is saying, the negative things is people that live in an area are being forced out and they're losing their homes because these gentrifiers are coming in and saying, all right, you can stay here for this amount of time, but they already have plans to get you out.
We're only covering the housing part.
But I think that's. I'm sorry, and this is coming from a person that
no, bro. This is all
I don't have much,
no
but I think it's a good business strategy for someone. I mean, if I see it, because remember, if you're looking for gentrification from the point of view of people that I'm assuming, Lou, you're talking about is suffering because this happens. But you can look at gentrification from the other point of view, from the investor. The investor has to put his money into a location that he thinks is going to be prime real estate.
Of course.
But what happens if the crime rate raises or something happens or I don't know, something happens, it doesn't take off. So me being a gentrifier and I'm trying to make money and I'm saying, all right, this is going to be prime property. And, I believe most of these people that are gentrifiers that are coming into these communities, I'm thinking they got like a tip, like maybe a realtor saying, or somebody saying there's about to be this big business. Like with the Barclays, right?
Yeah.
People that, the Barclays was like a bunch of railroads. It was terrible out there, right? And then there was rumors that we're going to get the stadium and then we're going to get this team and everything like that. So as an investor that has some money, right, I'm starting investing because this is the tip. I'm hearing they're going to build this thing and it's going to bring jobs, going to bring opportunities. So now and that's what they did, right? They bought those properties that were not really worth much and convinced people that were there to sell their properties. And now that shit it's like living by the garden. Like the money there is really high.
But people
you think you can move in there? You think you can move anywhere near the Barclays?
I don't think so.
And you're from Brooklyn.
I understand
You've been here all your life.
I understand that. But the Barclays has brought up...
Do you know the fight that had to happen for the Barclays to offer jobs to the people of the community first? That was a fight. And I can say that because I was on that fight. For them to have... we had to make sure, all right, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're getting all these people displaced. At least, the least y'all could do, because y'all about to make $1 billion profit, is give the people of this community that you're displacing a job here. And that was a fight because they didn't want to do that.
Okay.
And I know that for a fact. That's fact. That's not a Lou fact. That's a fact. All right?
That's a factual
All
fact.
right?
Fact, man. Yeah, that's you. David's right there. But maybe we should talk about that. So Lou, your experience, it seems very negative. I told you I don't really have an experience with it because it hasn't directly affected me. And
Yet. Keyword.
Yeah, and I'm
slowly because your area is bumping.
Yeah, and I'm kind of an isolated person. All right, well, Lou, you've been talking about the cons, I guess, of gentrification.
So wait, I just want to kind of recap to kind of say kind of just summarize what you're saying. So you're looking at it from a perspective of saying that you were trying to say, checking that there's some good if you're the investor. Like it's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to see it from the other point of view.
You're thinking it's a good perspective that way.
I'm saying if I all right, right now it's easy to say that gentrification is affecting the community negatively because we're on the other side of the spectrum, meaning we're on the side that's
feeling it.
Yeah, we're at the bottom of the barrel, right? With the impoverished community.
But even if you're not impoverished, even if you're just regular,
middle class. I mean, middle class. Say you make
whatever exists of that.
I mean, I don't think I'm super impoverished. I have a decent job, but I'm saying.
But gentrification is supposed to cater to you because at the end of the day, we're not rich, we're not poor, we're middle class.
But what happens if tomorrow we become multi-millionaires?
My whole point was going to say that even if you don't live in lower, like you're kind of was taking the aim at looking at like public housing. If you don't live in public housing, you live in a private residence.
Yeah, okay.
It's even affecting you there because those are the homes that are still being.
I think those are the ones that are affected the most.
That's exactly what I was just
Because
gonna
there's
say.
no rent control there.
And if where you look around, you don't even have to know it. You see it. Just driving around in this neighborhood, you can see it.
Yeah, of course.
And, and now, as the thing is, like, if rents go up, taxes go up. So people who do own a building, families who own a building for years, like say you were a family that has been able to luckily buy a house and have something here, you're gonna, even with that, it's still affecting you. Like your taxes are gonna go up. They're gonna skyrocket.
I understand
that.
And the areas
make
too,
you
like
wanna sell your place and then, or have to hike up your rent. So you're just gonna have to go with it.
But even though you guys keep talking about like rent control, but even the areas around it, you're gonna open up these businesses where now they have hamburger spots that charge you $16 for one hamburger, or they have Starbucks, and they're taking away all the little bodegas and all the little stuff on the corners that people were naturally used to going to buy because the price was easier for you to pay for, right? So as a consumer, everything is going up as well.
Sure.
So, I mean,
because those are the people who can afford that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
afford
saying.
that rent, you can.
You can afford whatever it is, but obviously for it to be completely gentrified, the businesses have to be changed as well. Like I'm not, but there's some positives that come out of it. The streets are much more cleaner. I don't care what anybody says. The public transportation becomes a lot better.
Gentrifiers buy a lot more drugs too.
But now we're going somewhere else. We're going somewhere else. I mean, everybody has.
I don't. You're right.
Everybody does their own things, but I'm just saying, gentrification as a whole, it's a slippery slope because. It can be a bad thing, but it can be a good thing too. Because like I said, as an investor, I'm banking, right? That I'm going to make a shit ton of money at this area. But if I don't...
If you're lucky enough to be an investor, you know how much money you have to even be that, to invest into this? Like you can't.
But I'm not saying that, Rich. I'm saying...
You're playing devil's advocate.
No, I'm not, I always play devil's advocate, but I'm not saying that. I was trying to... Give me a second. I was trying to finish a point. Let's say I invest and I put beautiful apartments there, and then I get the city to change my streets and everything. And let's say it didn't work out and I leave. Then who benefits that? The people that are still there.
How?
Because now the streets, when I say streets, I mean literally the streets.
Are empty. They're not even filled. They can't make it. Or they're filled with people who are living in them, and it's like, you can't just get one person, two people in there, a couple of small, it's like, okay, we've got 4 people to one unit.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's gentrification. That's just being greedy.
No, that's because the rent is so high because of.
But
what do you think gentrification is, bro?
You're
being greedy.
You're making everything look nice and everything looks great. Everyone wants to live in these luxury apartments because they're beautiful. And yeah, I want to live in a house that has a gym and has all this stuff and I have a
And the reason why the rent is low and the property is low and you was able to buy that fucking property at such a low price is because it was a low income area from the beginning. The government has set this part of the fucking community to, hey, this is a low income area. This is where people gotta pay this and this and this. We're gonna put this and this establishment here and this establishment here because this is what the people of that community could afford. So someone with a lot of money comes in and says, yo, let me buy this block and this block and this block because I could get it for $50,000 and get my $50,000 back in 6 months because I'm gonna get some motherfuckers out from wherever they are because I'm not trying to fucking label anybody and come and waste. All right, let me give you a perfect example. I used to go to a church named Found a Prayer. I've shared with you plenty of times that I was fighting against gentrification with Found a Prayer and predatory lending, right? I took on this task of even though I couldn't stand their agenda, anything, I still felt that place has been there since 1976. I felt like it was a prominent place in the neighborhood. A lot of people would come for whatever it was that they would come, whether it was spiritual guidance or whatever it was. A lot of people from that area would come. They had 2 buildings, right? One of the buildings, unfortunately, they started going through when 2008 happened. Loans went up, whatever the hell. I don't even know what happened, but I know a lot. The banks was asking for money that we didn't have, right? She had to sell one of the buildings, right? One of the buildings sold for $1.7 million. That was out of desperation. Do you know how much that building costs today? It's 4 years later?
No.
$6.7 million. All right. This man came and said, look, I could take care of all your problems. I'm going to give you $1.7 million. You'll keep your other building. She's still fighting for the other building. Do you know how much the rent is in the other building? The man made the $1.7 million back in 1 year. Let's just say. All right. With lies.
It's a lot of money.
OD a lot of money. So now right now I'm helping the church not lose the second building. All right? And these are people who got into a loan, who thought that they could pay a loan, who the bank said, yeah, don't worry, you have the congregation, you could pay the fucking loan, don't worry, with your congregation and whatever you make on the side, you could pay the loan. It was a bullshit lie. 2008 happened. What happened? Everything exploded, and you found out, you know what, I can't pay this fucking loan. So now, you're noticing the good part of gentrification, which is now. You're not noticing the bad part of gentrification, what happened in 2008, when people were losing all their goddamn apartments, losing all their buildings and everything with the last savings that they saved, bro. You're not noticing that.
But, I mean, I do notice that. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not understanding. I understand you clearly. I'm just not understanding. Because what about the people that own these apartment buildings that are just having 5 to 10 people in one apartment, and the place is not even gentrified? What about that?
What do you mean by that?
There's areas that are in Bushwick that's definitely not
Like
gentrified.
families
That it's the hood of the hood. The guys are still charging you $3,000 for the apartment, and there's 12 people living in one apartment,
But
and they
because
split
of
a room.
gentrification, they can charge $2,000.
No, because of rent control. There's no rent control. That's not.
What do you mean there's no?
gentrification.
There's definitely rent control in New York City, bro. You're bugging out.
If I have an apartment and I can prove that there's certain amount of people that are living there, then I can charge whatever I want. And the thing is that I listen.
There's other things
People that have
too.
been in real estate, people that own properties, have been fucking crooks forever. So I mean, if I say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna put Rachel on the lease. Rachel, your lease is for $1,500, so I have that on the books.
And then when I move out, then you can.
But I still keep
everything
you.
goes
I
up, I
keep
can
you as
charge
the
you.
lease on the books. But really, I'm charging you $4,000 because I know that your 2 cousins, or your 3 cousins, or your 4 cousins live with you. So really, your rent is $4,000, but your lease is $1,500, and then these people still pay it. That shit ain't gonna do gentrification. I mean, because what you're talking about is rent control and all this stuff. And we're talking about gentrification. Yeah, gentrification kind of fucked up. Yeah, but there's this pros and there's cons to it. You're talking about New York City housing and stuff like that. New York City housing was called the projects for a reason. It wasn't supposed to be forever. It wasn't supposed to be for 100 years. What happened is what they did was they put us all in one area and they try to keep us there so that they could stabilize criminal activities. So they put all the projects around each other, and all these people that were of poverty were living there. But they never gave them another idea or another way to go somewhere else. So now you know what? It's been 50, 60 years that these people have had those apartments, and now it's time's up. So now people are trying to invest in these areas. Now, is that their fault that they want to invest in the areas? I don't think so. The fact that you want to live in a impoverished community and you want to stay complacent with where you live and you don't want to move on, you don't want to do whatever you want to do. That's not somebody's investing's fault.
No, it's not to say that.
But this is. I'm sorry. I mean, Lou, you're talking. This is how you sound.
I got you.
You're making it seem like I'm an investor. Lou, we don't know. Right now, we're coming from the point of view we don't have money to really buy or invest into anything.
I know.
But if tomorrow I become a multimillionaire and I want to invest back into my community and I want to start buying property in my community and I want to change, because a lot of the people that are buying properties is not just necessarily people that are not of our culture. There's people that are buying of our culture. We've had a Spanish. Bars that I go to, one that's owned by Spanish people from our neighborhood, and they own that. So it's not necessarily all that. I understand where you're coming from. I get that. I understand completely. Especially, I would be a hypocrite if I was talking bad about it because I live in public housing.
Okay.
But I'm saying, for somebody that's been there 50 years, 40 years, 60 years, who've passed them down from generation to generation, what you're doing is you're enabling the person that lives there to not move anywhere. And the most horrible thing that somebody can have is being comfortable. And that's what happens when you're in these impoverished communities. You're comfortable. You don't know the world out of there. How many people say, I've never been to the fucking
And
city?
what makes you think they're not going to be even more comfortable with the way it looks now? Why would you want to move out of the fucking neighborhood the way it looks now? Why should you be forced
Because you can
out?
still live
But you didn't
there.
put nothing into the neighborhood, Lou.
Well, maybe they
How do
put
you-
something into the
I'm saying,
neighborhood.
I mean, seriously, like you didn't just because you live in your neighborhood, you didn't put no investment into your neighborhood. Don't get me wrong. There's people that are in the community and they're fighting and they're doing different things. I get that. But that's not everybody, and that's not the majority.
Because the main goal is to get out the hood. But there's some people who don't want to leave. They love it.
Because they make it comfortable. If you look at the way society
What's
is
make it
made,
comfortable,
Make it
Jacob?
comfortable. You make the supermarket 2 blocks away.
Okay.
You make a store every corner. You make
Okay.
a liquor store. Think about it. If you look at all the impoverished communities, all the projects and everything like that, there's always 3 things next to it. There's a fucking laundromat. There's a place to deposit your check-in, a check cashing.
I don't know what you're talking about because I always had a washing machine in my
Even better, and that's public housing you have it. But let's say you have a laundromat, you have a check cashing place, you have a liquor store, and you have somewhere you have a grocery store. Why the fuck
And
would you
order food, like,
right? Yeah, why the
takeout.
fuck would you want to leave your neighborhood? So they put you in these.
Why don't people want to leave their
I'm saying,
countries?
we put it, see, now we're going somewhere else. But I'm
No, we're
talking
not going
That's
somewhere else.
what
This is we're definitely not going somewhere
But, I
else.
mean-
This is where you've been for 50 years. Why would you want to leave now?
But country is so.
You've
Country-
created the
country is
culture
so
of that
big.
community.
It's so- country's so
You've
big.
created the culture of that community. You know everybody in that community. Why the fuck would you want to move out now and meet new people when you're 50, 60 fucking years old? We could talk us because we 30 and our goal is to advance.
It's sweet for us. It's sweet for us. We're young, so we can enjoy it. But if you don't,
No, I understand
and
that.
you don't know your neighbors, you know who they are.
I get it, but I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you to put these people on the street. I get it, but I'm just saying. I'm just.
And they won't be on the street. They'll be displaced.
Yes.
Not they'll be on the street.
displaced in the old home living, where my grandmother was raised in an old home living, and it was beautiful. And most of the old home living are beautiful.
Wait,
It's
what,
not-
what do you mean by old home living?
I'm sorry, old people, like, the houses for older people, geriatric people. They have these old folks living where you go there and the area, it's nice. You have
Where?
they have
New
a
York City?
New York City everywhere. They're opening up everywhere. And there's
I don't
two.
know. My grandpa's in one does not look so nice.
There's 2 that I know right now. My grandmother was in one that was right by my neighborhood. That was right by the precinct on Bleecker and Wilson.
got good
You go inside. She had an apartment. It was regular. Same thing would happen in other places.
But not everybody's so lucky to get that.
Of course, but there's gonna be people that are gonna get it. There's people that are not gonna get it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to be displaced. I don't want anybody to be kicked out of wherever they were. But you know what though? At the end of the day, that's the way the fucking world works.
And it's a fucked up fucking
Then
world.
it's a fucked up world. But you know what? And the thing is that
So then who do we think is the blame? Who do we think is the blame?
Well, I don't know.
Is it?
Well, I don't know if we're talking about gentrification right now. Now it's going on. We're going on something totally a little bit different.
Well,
No, it's gentrification.
I think in gentrification,
You know why you're not?
look at the definition of gentrification.
Time out.
For someone of higher income to come to another area and make the area better, and then eventually what happens is the people of lower income can't afford that area. So
And
they
this
have
is
to
why
move somewhere
Bernie's
else.
going to be president in 2020. This is the reason why right here. Because the fucking wealth equality in this country is OD. And the fact, if I want to live somewhere for 20 fucking years and I'm comfortable and crime has changed and there's no more crime in a place that I loved living all my motherfucking life. And now you telling me, yo, the crime is down. Whole Foods is here, Trader Joe's is here, and now you can't afford the rent. So you need to get the fuck out in Brownsville and go back to the bad shit that you was at 10 years ago. That's fucked up, bro.
But
And the reason why you're not going, the reason why you're not feeling it is because New York has put rent control laws. You know, they have fought. But we have landlords who know, hey, guess what? My property taxes went up. My rent, my shit has went up. So I got to start charging these people more fucking money. So unfortunately, in other countries, like in Philadelphia and in Denver and in Austin, there's places that black people and Latinos are getting displaced because landlords are able to raise their rent and be dickhead landlords, not have to do repairs, not have to do anything. You don't feel it because you're in New York, and New York is a liberal fucking state.
But we talked about this topic. I asked you. I said, and then you brought up Harlem, and I thought, are we going to get to a specific area? Now you're talking about different states. I don't know shit about a different state.
Of course,
But it's the same movement.
you're gonna
It's the
feel it
same-
soon
it's the
because
same-
the minute the Republicans take over the fucking the state, you'll feel it. Trust me.
It's the same,
Right now,
it's the same concept. Where it is doesn't matter. It's right now the trend is on, gentrifying urban areas, poor, lower income urban areas, and making them nice again. The downtown
still a
projects,
process, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's still happening.
Even in Long Island, they've done that. They've revitalized all the main streets.
Let me tell you
Listen,
something.
New York as a whole is
If
losing
your
population.
projects become privatized and you listen to your music at 5:30 in the morning and the cops go, excuse me, sir, we just got a call from your neighbor. You're playing your music too loud. You got to shut up or we're going to arrest you. What you going to do?
Well, by law, you can't come into my motherfucking house.
Okay.
So how about that? You can't come to my house. So and it don't matter where I live. You can't come to my house. Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm outside and I'm making a shit ton of noise, that's not a cultural thing. That's me being an asshole. And I don't give a fuck what where you live or wherever you're at.
So
the truth.
my question, okay, I would ask a question for
The
the
truth. And I live in the hood, and I'm saying the same thing. And I'm the one that's playing the music outside.
You playing devil's advocate right now, bro.
I'm the one
definitely playing devil's advocate
I'm the one
right now.
playing music outside too. But you know what?
So you gotta lower your music.
If it's gonna get me arrested, yeah, hold on, time out. There's been times where I'm outside in front of my building, and it's got nothing to do with gentrification, but got to do because I live in a fucked up neighborhood, and I'm making noise with my kids and my fucking lady barbecuing, and the cops come to me and say, lower that shit or we're gonna arrest you. That shit got nothing to do with gentrification. They're gonna do what the fuck they want. I mean,
but that might start increasing because my question was gonna be: do you feel like is it by having gentrification, it's changing the look, the culture of where you grew up, not just like what people are like.
Before we go, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Culture.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm gonna let you get back to it because I don't want to forget this. What's the culture of your 14th floor? Your 14th floor. What is it that you always tell me about your fucking
We're
floor?
all united.
Huh?
We're all united.
Now, if that becomes privatized and they move one of these gentrifiers into your floor, and that person from that floor calls and says, yo, this motherfucker is using music every day, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? There's people smoking weed in the hallway. I'm not with, because that's all against nature. How you going to feel then?
I just told you the same thing.
What?
If I'm doing it inside my house, they're not telling me shit.
That's not my point. I'm asking you, how would you feel? Because y'all got a culture on that 14th floor. That 14th floor, y'all culture's unity. Y'all culture's we been here. This is our motherfucking floor. No matter what happens.
But that's not a cultural thing. That's just being united.
That's the culture of the 14th floor Roosevelt projects of whatever it is that y'all got. Y'all got a camaraderie, whatever it is.
Expert here.
Okay.
All right, that wouldn't piss you the fuck off. That wouldn't make you feel like, yo, this motherfucker that just moved in here need to get the fuck out.
What I was gonna say is, I'm gonna use the big word for you guys.
And vice versa. What if somebody comes in and be an asshole?
Changing the je ne sais quoi of like Bushwick and Brooklyn, like Bed-Stuy, that whole area, like it's no longer becoming, black and brown people. It's a lot of white people coming in.
And I have no problem with that. But y'all need to come in.
But does it take
y'all not the
away-
conquistadors of the shit.
Now what happens
It
is,
takes a certain essence away from
listen,
it.
I understand what Lou's saying. It's not that I disagree. I understand what you're saying. I just don't. The way you're saying it is not. It's not sticking in my head, but I think I kind of understand what you're saying. You're saying we've been doing something for 20, 30 years. For instance, let's say barbecues. Let's say fucking block parties, right? We do block parties. And you move into the neighborhood now, and these block parties, for some reason, you feel unsafe or you feel like this shit is not here, and you start making complaints and they stop the block parties. Then that would upset you because these gentrifiers changed your culture. I understand that. And I understand the rent control. Oh, they want to kick people out of NYCHA. It's not even about NYCHA. When we had this conversation, it had nothing to do with the projects or about NYCHA. It had to do with other properties. I think it's more important and more prevalent with these properties that are privately owned and that people are being forced out of, where a gentrifier comes in and buys the whole fucking building from the prior owner and then tells these people, listen, I'm going to give you $10,000 to get out. And then they're forced out. At least with NYCHA and these other places, you still, but the city still owns it.
It's probably that's like I feel like that's like the last.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
spot where it
I think when you
hits,
went
but it's
there,
going there. It's already gonna
of course,
go
if it's already that direction, it has to go there eventually too.
Yeah.
But again, it's a touchy topic. Pros and cons.
Maybe we could. As a topic that we obviously need more time talking about. It's very dear to me. Maybe because I've fought a lot for my community.
Plural.
There is negatives and there's positives to it. We did point out some negatives and some positives. So I'm gonna point them out. Some of the negatives that we did point out was pushing people out of their homes, homelessness. City is too expensive to live in, skyrocketed rent. Some of the positives that we did point out was looks clean, looks new, less crime, which we have to less crime in the areas around whatever. Homes increasing in value, which is good for homeowners.
People who have owned and been lucky to own their homes have skyrocketed in value.
We could sit here all day and talk about how mom and pop shops are suffering from this when You know, when
I think I brought that up with the bodegas and shit like that, right?
yeah, when you know, when Whole Foods comes in and sells you a fucking mango for $3, when the Dominican from down the block would have sold to you from $1, you know, shit like that. You know, universal rent control laws. Luckily, we got them in New York City. A lot of people in Philadelphia, Austin, like I mentioned before, don't. So this is a topic that we could be talking about all day, but unfortunately, we're not. We unfortunately are out of time. But before we do leave, we usually get final thoughts from one person. I want to get final thoughts from all of y'all. So check in. Final thought on this gentrification issue.
I think gentrification, the idea of gentrification, I think is a good idea because, like you said, with the pros, it brings in better. Sometimes it brings in better job opportunities. It brings in less crime because it's people are watching it more. They clean up the streets, but at the same time, you know, some people have to suffer. Mm-hmm. So you got to ask yourself, you know, is it for the greater good? Because not everybody's gonna win. Somebody always has to suffer. So if it's not for the greater good, then we shouldn't do it. If it is for the greater good, then we should do it. Me personally, like I said, you guys keep reiterating that I will eventually feel it. I'm not feeling it now, and
I hope you never feel it.
And from my point of view, from where I stand, and pretty much from
your kids might though.
From where I stand and the way I was raised, go somewhere else. If it's like that and you don't feel comfortable where you are, and yeah, you said it, 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, the way I was raised with my mom, and if we're not comfortable where we are, we go somewhere else. And hopefully I'll have doors to go there.
Amen.
But I don't know if everybody else is going. I don't know if everybody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Rich?
So,
Final
okay.
thoughts on this?
I feel like I am, on some level, maybe can be considered a gentrifier. Somebody I came and moved here in 2015. That's like the height of it. In this area. But because I got a job, so I moved out here.
Yes, you're a gentrifier, Rachel. Get out of here. Go back.
I knew it.
Go back to where you were.
I'm from Long Island. I feel like it, on some level, it's like that's
That
don't really count. So many people
Talk about the Midwest.
So many people come from, you know, commute, whatever. But no, but to move out here and to afford it is, you know, kind of crazy. Like, I got a job in Brooklyn and I couldn't afford Brooklyn. I had to move to Queens because it was just a little bit cheaper. So, yeah, no, I think rent is insane. I don't know how people can afford it, you know, and I think, you know, being displaced is not good. Do I love, you know, living in an area where I'm like, oh wow, this stuff is here. It really, like, all these great restaurants and all these great places, you know, entertainment wise and all that. It's really nice. It's really pretty. You know, my mom's always like, I'm gonna come out and enjoy everything, you know. But I do see that, you know, there, you know, as conceptually, the idea of it beautifying the neighborhood and making everything look nice is great, but I don't know that displacing people and like stepping on the little people, and I don't know how much affordable housing there really, you know, how affordable it really is, and what's the reality of people really being able to even still stay here, who love New York and want to stay here because, you know, this is a place where you can work, you know, like it's the, you know, financial capital of the world, and more jobs, more money. I moved out here because I could make more money. You know, I knew that more opportunities were here. So, yeah, but if I can't live here, you it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback on what you said, Lou, you could finish the thought. How many people work here and live in Jersey?
It's commute on the Long Road.
Yeah. So, Lou,
well,
this is the one. This is your passionate baby. What do you?
I want to say a couple of things before we do get off. I'm totally happy that sex work is about to be decriminalized because I'm about to suck dick for the way the rent is in this fucking kid.
That's fucking nuts.
Nah, I'm just playing. I don't know, man.
You see the good, you see the bad.
I see the good and the bad. I happen to still live in Nige as well. I see the RVs of police in front of our community and our community only. I see the nitpicking of our community due to this gentrification. I see Whole Foods going up everywhere. I see Key Foods going down. I see mom and pop shops going down. Not only have I lived in Brooklyn, I've lived in Washington Heights. There's a place called Liberato where I used to get my meat for $2.29. Now I gotta go to Whole Foods and get my meat for $5.49. And although they do take EBT and they are receptive to those, you know, to those kind of recipients, it doesn't cut it for us. You know, like I said, I've been I'm fighting for my church that I hate it, but you know, the part of me that's saying, yo, this is your community, you gotta fight for it, makes me fight for it. So with that being said, man, you know, I guess this is a topic that's always gonna be, there's no wrong or right, you know, because there is goods and there's a lot of goods and there's a lot of bads. And I just wish everybody the best, man. If you guys do have any comments about this, you guys have your opinions, make sure y'all comment on our YouTube page, put it on the bottom, we'll bring it up on our next episode.
What should people do
if they
if they are feeling like they're being pushed out of their house, they feel like they're getting displaced, like, you know, because there is, you know,
if landlords are forcing them and stuff like that,
every year my rent goes up.
What can they do, Lou?
If you do have a landlord who's being a predatory landlord and who is you feel is infringing your rights, and you don't have the means to a lawyer like a lot of us do, make sure you hit up the Legal Aid Society at 212-577-3300, or you can hit Legal Services New York at 917-661-4500.
And what if some of the people want to be like you and fight, you know, to save certain places?
Definitely attend your city council meetings or your town halls. Make sure you elect the right officials. As much as y'all think that the mayor of New York City is not important, if you guys don't know, Mayor de Blasio has been in a lot of shady shit with fucking developers. I'm not even gonna. That'll be a whole nother show, you know.
This is why I don't deal with politicians, man. They're all
no. This is why you have to, though. This is why you have to. This is why you have to, because if you guys didn't learn from Trump, your vote counts. As much as y'all think y'all don't, and that's been another misconception, and we could say that for another show, that your vote don't count. Your vote counts. If your vote didn't count, we wouldn't have had Trump.
The most on a local level.
And you guys were talking about Make the Road. What can you guys elaborate on that, because I have no clue what Make the Road is.
Make the Road by Walking is a Bushwick community activist program. I don't know the exact number or anything like that, but you could just Google Make the Road on like I said, Google it, and then you'll figure it out where it's at. If I find some more information, maybe I'll put it on the bottom or something.
And don't be like Jack and find out what district you live in. Find out who your congresswoman is and who your representative is.
I just wanted to add this one thing, too, is that we didn't even say this, and I know this is like whatever. It's just, but, you know, all the construction, what is it doing to the air quality, the pollution?
Forget all that. What about the rodents?
Look,
they're digging into old places that had cesspools and sewage, and we're getting more rodents. Still
No, for real, no. You have I don't want to.
Shots fired now. You better put the shots fired for that one, blood.
Fuck that.
No, I have asthma, so I do care.
On that cue, let's get the fuck out of here.
FYI,
the St. Louis Blues just won the NHL championship.
Hey,
congratulations to you.
Shouts to the St. Louis Blues,
but
man.
we're about to get the fuck out of here and check out the new cups. Yes! Got our faces on it. Yeah.
Rachel got the small cup because she's soft.
Because she said the cups are too heavy for her.
They are.
Man, we hope we covered as much as we could. This is a topic that we're going to be covering a lot more on. We try to give you as much information as we could. We didn't even talk about Nipsey fighting gentrification, but if you do, I'm going to make sure I put that on the 2 to 1 page. Thank you guys for watching the 2 to 1 show. I'm your boy, Best Lou. To my right, Rachel. To my left, the developer. Check in. Make sure you check us out at 221_ show. Like, subscribe, comment, tell us we suck, tell us we great.
I want to have great.
All for the
Peace, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. We support y'all. Booty.
We hustle, went into the fall. They gave my dog 10 and had him lost in the sauce. We going up when he touchdown. Rich out of service, I might go and get a bust down. See us getting litty, please don't try to say what's up now. Walking in our section when you see us in the club now. It's Mr. Game 7, every game from here is clutch now. Down to my last, I watch everybody switch when I was down to my stash. Trying